offseason has been ridiculous for NFL free agency. Because obviously, the big news is Tom Brady moving. Because everybody, Tom Brady, he's played for the Patriots for longer than I've been alive. Tom Brady has been playing for the New England Patriots. They were the greatest dynasty. Because here's the thing, they weren't even just a dynasty. They were a dynasty twice. Like, people talk about them as if they're one dynasty. They won 3 titles in the early 2000s, stopped winning. They struggled for I say they struggled. They were still one of the top teams for a while, but Brady dealt with injuries. They were losing the Super Bowl. They couldn't make it to the Super Bowl for almost a decade. I think the last time they won a title was 2005, and they didn't make it back to the Super Bowl and win one for 2014. And they were a dynasty again. They were a dynasty twice. They had 2 fucking dynasties. That's ridiculous. And then obviously last year, the Patriots were pretty fucking bad. They had the greatest defense in the league, but their offense was just so trash, mostly due to the retirement of Rob Gronkowski. And so the Patriots, they really faltered. They started off like 7-0. I think they ended up finishing like 11-5. They got bounced in the first round against the Titans team that was just, they barely made the playoffs. I think they went 9-7. But yeah, like they barely like made the playoffs to begin with. They got bounced in the first round. So the Patriots, they were in a weird transition time. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, you know what? They got Tom next year. But no, Tom Brady signed to the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of nowhere. Because the Bucs weren't even that great last season. I think they went 7-9. But they still had a lot of talent on that team. Everybody kind of was like, you know what? If the Bucs had a better QB that didn't throw 30 interceptions, they would have made the playoffs. That's not a joke. Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions last year. That's not a joke. That's not hyperbole. He threw 30 interceptions. I'm going to keep on saying it because it's fucking ridiculous. Because Brett Favre would be impressed with how much gunslinging he was doing. He had 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, 5,000 yards. Regardless, if they had a quarterback who didn't turn over the ball that much, they probably would have made the playoffs. So they signed Tom Brady, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. If he's not the greatest quarterback of all time, he's the most accomplished. 3 MVPs, 6 Super Bowls, 4 Super Bowl MVPs, 14 Pro Bowls. Like, it's just ridiculous. And so then shit dies down. All the other stuff in the league, it's happened. All the other kind of, moves have been done. It's almost draft time. And then not even yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago at this point, the news comes out. Rob Gronkowski, professional wrestler for the WWE, gets traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's not even a joke. He's currently champion of the WWE. It was a big deal that he got signed. And he got traded to the Bucs. Rob Gronkowski coming out of retirement. He retired in his prime. He was considered probably the greatest tight end to ever play the game. And it's well deserved because if you look at his accomplishments, he's the most unstoppable player I've seen. You literally couldn't stop him. So him retiring after 2018, he was pretty beat up. And for all intents and purposes, this was his Jordan year. Like he retired, he got his mind in shape, he got his body in shape, he stopped taking the hits, and then boom, he's back. He's with the Bucs. I don't have any other parallel for this. Like, I don't have any other kind of, like, a lot of people are like, what's the NBA parallel for this, or whatever the fuck. I don't have one, man. I really don't have anything, because it's not even just Gronk coming out of retirement. It's him going to play with his former teammate who, arguably one of the top 5 connections, like, quarterback, receiver connections. Like, I understand he's a tight end, but still, like, connections in NFL history. So it's fucking insane, man. Like, it's absolutely insane. Andrew, I know you don't have a whole lot to add to this, but.
It sounds like a cool thing, I'll tell you that. All I know is big news and Twitter was blowing up, so I know we had to talk about it, and we need content, and content is key, like I said earlier. So I'm happy you got to talk a little bit about football, because we don't get to talk too much about that. So that was interesting to hear, because it's good to be up to date and informed. And maybe someone out there doesn't watch football; they just come here to listen to some MMA news or boxing news. So there you go. There's a little bit of factoids for the day.
Yeah, some factoids. as for like whether or not they're going to be one of the top teams, a lot of people are saying like it's Super Bowl would bust for them, and I completely agree. If they don't win the Super Bowl, it's all a bust. But like, listen, they have. I'd say they're probably the second best offense in the league right now. If they're not number 2, they're number 3. I think number 1 is the clear Kansas City Chiefs. Like, I understand I'm biased and all, but I mean, come the
back
fuck
to
on.
back, baby.
Back to back. The Chiefs retained 21 of 22 starters. That's fucking insane. They have Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, the speed on that team, McCole Hardman, obviously the greatest quarterback in the league, the greatest tight end in the league. And yes, I said greatest tight end in the league, even with Gronk back, I don't care. By the time Gronk retired, Travis Kelce was already the best tight end in the league, because Gronk he's beat to shit the last year he played, so, but then the Bucs, man, like just that offense, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Tom Brady, Ronald Jones, who is actually a pretty good running back that nobody talks about. And then they have 3 good tight ends. That's insane to me. They have O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, and now Rob Gronkowski. They can run 3 tight end sets. That's insane to me. Like they have 3 really, really good tight ends. And then the defense side of the ball, it's not even that bad either. Ndamukong Suh, Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaquille Barrett. Like, they have some good fucking people on that defensive side of the ball, and the defense isn't nearly as bad as it looked last year. Their D-line in particular is really, really good, but it's really, really hard whenever your quarterback's turning over the ball 2 times a game for the defense to be that great. So, I think the Bucs are going to be one of the top teams in the league, and they're going to be going up against the Saints. Like, that division is going to be insane, because you've got New Orleans with Drew Brees, in my opinion, who I think might be the greatest quarterback of all time. We were talking about Brady. Brees basically has more of the accomplishments, and he has more of the stats, like more accomplishments. I mean, like career-wise, like he has all like the records for most touchdown passes, most this, that, or whatever the fuck. And they were one of the better teams in the league last year. And Brees is coming back for the final dance, the last dance. He'll be 42. And then you got Carolina with Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey. And then Atlanta with Matt Ryan and them boys, and Todd Gurley just got signed. So the NFC South is going to be insane. But yeah, man, it's going to be fun. If I were to, and obviously the NFL draft is today. The NFL draft is literally today. It's going to be all virtual. And so that means Roger Goodell is not going to be booed for the first time ever. So they got a lot of stuff going on in the NFL. So it's a fun time to be an NFL fan, because I'm pretty sure all the shit's gonna be figured out by the time the league starts in September. Crossing my fingers, God willing, the NFL will start in September and everything will be relatively normal. So